Hi, Tyler.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing so good.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh,
your audio is
awesome.
so crisp. It's
Yeah,
really
this
better
is
than
great.
mine.
Put in a lot of effort, and it's why I'm a couple minutes late.
Oh, no
You're
worries.
good.
No worries.
I was trying to make the alien sounds in Disclosure Day, and apparently I nailed it, but I don't think I could ever do it again.
One thing we always like to ask our guests very first is, are you ready to share with the world what does Star Wars mean to you?
100%.
Sweet.
All right, Tyler. Of all the Star Wars movies, which one is your comfort favorite?
Oh, it's like, so comfort favorite, the go-to.
Yes.
That's probably for me going to be The Empire Strikes Back. I know it's like the most popular answer, but for my favorite, I think my favorite part of all of Star Wars is like the practical effects and the visual magic trickery. And like Empire is just, every shot is incredible to look at. So I will never tire of it.
We're going to talk about practical effects with you. I'm very excited.
Yes.
Dave, could you roll a d6 for me?
Oh, yes. Four.
Okay. Who's your favorite droid?
Oh, Chopper, 100%. I'm building Chopper right now. That's like my current work in progress.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Oh my god.
So it'll be a kind of a working droid, but a full scale chopper.
Yeah. So full scale. I'm still very, very new to the like electronic side of that. It's much more complicated than I ever could have anticipated.
Sure.
So for right now, the goal is to get him built enough to be like a statue, and then slowly over time adding each of the like different effects and features and all that.
Oh, that's really
Amazing. Cool. What is your favorite line to quote?
Oh, favorite line to quote. I'm trying to think of like favorite line versus what I do the most often. I think probably my favorite line is just like I guess it's not a line, but it's the Revenge of the Sith spiel right before Anakin and Obi-Wan fight. Like that whole thing of my allegiance is to the Republic, to democracy, all of that. Like but I don't know if I quote anything. I talk to my wife as Yoda a lot. She really hates it. So I think I use that the most. Like not any particular quotes, but I'm sounding like Yoda a lot in our household.
That's so funny. Do you have the mug that has that monologue manifesto, whatever you want to call it?
No, I don't. I've got it. My wife wants to get it for me on a t-shirt though, because like every time we watch that movie, I have to stop myself from just reciting the whole thing.
100%.
Let everyone else enjoy it.
Besides the movies, what is your favorite Star Wars content?
Oh, I was thinking about this question before coming on here because I feel like I have lots of answers to this question. So I'm going to, like, Rebels is probably my favorite. I'll put that out there. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing I really love the most is probably Galaxy's Edge. Like,
oh my God.
I love Galaxy's Edge. I love everything that goes along with that. Like, I've loved the comics and the VR game, especially. Like, Galaxy's Edge is, I think, one of the coolest forms of like multimedia storytelling that Star Wars has ever done. And I don't think people give that enough credit. Like how cool that story is and how interconnected it is. And if you're willing to like commit the time to it, it's so deep and it's so interesting. And I love it.
That is a podcast first. No one's mentioned it. And I strongly agree with you. That is awesome.
Do you get down to Disneyland a lot? Do you go to Galaxy's Edge a lot?
Yeah, so we didn't renew, but for the past year, like in 2025, my wife and I had annual passes at Disneyland, and we were there all the time. And even like full days just at Black Spire Outpost, we had like Batu Bound's custom outfits that were kind of our own original characters, and we would just go live in Star Wars for a day, and it's my favorite. I miss it dearly. And that's why like my whole setup, I'm like, it's all Galaxy's Edge inspired. And I make the lamps from Galaxy's Edge and as much as I can to bring it home because I love it so much.
Dave has never been. We're going when we go to Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, you guys, that's so exciting.
I'm so excited. I will film the live reaction.
Yes.
Okay, our last of the 5 with the Force. In your opinion, what is the best or most surprising practical effect? The most surprising practical effect shot, from Star Wars.
Okay. This is a very, very recent example, but I've been blabbing about it to everyone I know. So like spoilers for The Mandalorian and Grogu. I'm sure everyone in your audience has seen it. Those two droids at the end, the stop motion Phil Tippett robots that Mando fights outside the twins' chambers. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like, because I know Star Wars has been doing stop motion for a really long time, but like I saw stop motion in IMAX. Like that's not a normal thing. And like in 2026 to go see a brand new Star Wars movie in an IMAX theater and see these enormous, I guess small but like forced perspective, enormous stop motion droids. I've gone back multiple times to see the movie just for like that sequence. I love it so much. There's like, I would love to be able to talk to somebody that worked on it someday, because there's so many shots that I'm like, how did you get the interaction here? Because, you know, like anything else you work on, if you're interacting with a CG object, they usually just like make the CG object line up with the real plate of footage. But stop motion, it's so much harder to do that. And I want to know how they did it, because it's such an incredible sequence.
Such a good call out. Yeah.
So that's your 5 with the Force. Now we'll just jump into your Star Wars journey. And our first question always is, what was your introduction to Star Wars, and can you take us through that experience?
Yeah, so I was born in 99, so I was a prequels kid growing up. My mom even jokes, she says she went to the midnight premiere of Phantom Menace while pregnant with me, and I think she may have made up the story, but she claims I was going crazy during the Duel of the Fates. So I've been with it before being born, but
Star Wars has literally always been around you.
Oh yeah, always. It's always been there. And so yeah, I grew up with the prequels, and that was just like the joy of my life. It's funny enough, I watched Attack of the Clones probably more than any other Star Wars movie, at least in my childhood, just because that was like the one that was available to me, and it was new and it was exciting. Yeah, and so that was kind of the intro.
Now, did you get into, you were born in 99, so you probably really was watching them when you were 5, 6. Probably saw them first on, I was going to say tape, that shows my age, on DVD or Blu-ray. And so I'm going to just jump to this question, though. What was the first one you saw in a movie theater, and was that a different experience for you?
Yeah, so I actually did grow up watching Star Wars on VHS. I still have those VHS copies. It's how I choose to watch them. So it's not just you.
Why the VHS? I'm sorry. I know I just...
you're good. The special editions, like I appreciate George's vision, but I also am obsessed with that original, like very analog form of filmmaking, and so I really enjoy. And I'm really excited for us getting that in theaters, like super restored next year. That's so exciting.
Yes.
So, but for right now, it's the only way I can watch it is on VHS. So
sweet,
the last of our kind, right here.
Yeah, exactly. So what? I know I asked you about your first movie. We'll get there. But there was something else you said that made me want to ask this, which was, how did you, like, you were born in 99, which is like very CGI era. Even for Star Wars, Phantom Menace was like a demo reel on what CGI can do. Attack of the Clones really amped that up with characters like Yoda and the Clone Troopers. So you were in this kind of, your like original to you movie experience was possibly CGI. How did you get into practical effect? Like what?
Yeah, I think I can answer both of the questions of like the theater experience to kind of what got me here. So my first Star Wars movie in theaters was The Force Awakens, which is like pretty crazy, I think. How much I love this franchise that it took that long for me to get it in theaters. And funny enough, I didn't disengage from Star Wars, but, we had that 10-year gap between Sith and The Force Awakens. Yes. And so, like all the superhero stuff was kicking off. I got more interested in other things. And then I remember going to see Avengers Age of Ultron, and the teaser for The Force Awakens played. And I just remember seeing the Lucasfilm logo, hearing the Binary Sunset theme, and watching that shot of Rey's speeder like race in front of the crashed Star Destroyer, and it was like everything flooded back to me. And Star Wars became like that night I went home, rewatched all the movies, and I was immediately like back in. And it actually came along with Rogue One. I was into cosplay from like the superhero stuff, and then it just so happened that like the year Rogue One came out, one of my teachers at school got a 3D printer, and so I decided to make a Shore Trooper helmet. And like making something tangible from Star Wars and like having that in my hands was kind of like what kickstarted my obsession with like the costumes and the models and the props and all the effects and like the tangible nature of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is going to be, sounds like a crazy question, but were you artistic to begin with, or did your fandom lead to you wanting to create the physical objects in your own world?
It definitely the fandom. I think that's a great question, actually, because I've not thought of it that way. But yeah, I mean, like, I'd like to think I always appreciated like art and creativity and things, but for me it was when I first started doing like cosplay stuff and there was a local convention that I was going to, I just saw the other cool things that people were wearing and people were making, and I was like, damn, I really want to have that. And the only way to have that was to learn how to make it. And so I just wanted to have the cool stuff in my house, and so I had to figure out a way to get it there.
That's really impressive, because I do truly look at cosplay and building the costumes, but even more so building the models, helmets, the physical objects as a form of art, because I think it takes an immense amount of creativity. You may be designing, you're painting, you're sanding, you're molding, you're figuring it all out. Which one of your outfits, which item did you make that you like a lot was like the most painful birth you had?
I think the one that gave me the most trouble, and I think it kind of shaped most of my skills today, is I did Mando's look from the first few episodes of the show. I saw the reveal in the trailers and I was like, I have to make that. And it was funny because I didn't know he was going to get a completely different costume 3 episodes into the show. So I just got to work on the one that was in the promotional material. But that one was probably like 2 to 3 years of fine tuning to get it right.
Wow.
Because I started on very little. Like they put the costume on display at like D23 in San Diego Comic-Con, and that was it. That was all we had to go off of. And so I was making and remaking things all the time, and especially as the show was coming out, we got so much more like visual reference, and it would be like, oh shit, like this piece isn't accurate anymore, and like now I've got to redo that. And so yeah, I think like I've gotten much more like efficient in my process as the years have gone on, but that one was probably like 2 to 3 years of dialing it in, and I even just recently updated some pieces for it when the movie came out, because I'm like, I want to make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
There's so much passion in you're talking about creating, your pieces. And I know that there's such a large community that surrounds, especially Star Wars cosplay, cosplay in general, but specifically Star Wars. And I think, what do you feel what is it about practical effects that you think is so effective and then kind of creates that drive to then like create as well? Like, does that make sense? Like, yeah.
Because I always try to be really careful when I talk about this stuff, especially in like my own content, because the CG artists are artists too, and they work so hard, and like they're incredible.
Totally.
And so I never want to disparage like CG, but there's something about like that visual language that was created in the 70s by a bunch of nerds just like getting a bunch of trash and model kits and things and throwing it together to make something that looks, like real. It looks like a real machine. And there's just something about that like scrappiness and creativity that just makes it feel so much more tangible and real. And I think it's what separates Star Wars from a lot of other sci-fi. I feel like so much sci-fi kind of blends together in terms of like how it looks and how it feels, but Star Wars is so distinct, and that comes from like that extra care and craft and effort. And I'm sure there's probably a lot about like, well, I just grew up with Star Wars. Maybe if I grew up with Star Trek, I'd say the same things about Star Trek. But yeah, Star Wars is just, there is such a particular look. And like, if you're able to understand that visual language and like create things in that world, it's so exciting to me.
Yeah. I love what you said too about like the scrappiness of it, that there's so many pieces that are made up, like the sum of the parts are just random items that then when you put them together create a new story. Like that's very cool. That's a great perspective.
I actually, because like one of my favorite things, so my wife just helped me complete this past Christmas, but I've wanted to build a vintage Graflex.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it's this, where it's like, it's a camera flash handle that was at the time junk. Now it's worth a bunch of money. But like, and it's, it's a bubble strip from a calculator and like rubber grips from probably like cabinetry, and just that coming together in like one of the most iconic props ever. Yeah.
Yes.
And so some of it's replica parts, but it's mostly vintage. Like it's recreated to the exact specifications of the one in A New Hope. And that is it. Like I love that. I love that, I think creativity flourishes the most when you have limitations. Like you have to work within a certain box and within, certain challenges, and that they come up with the best stuff that way. And I love that.
Also, shout out to your wife for being like super rad. Like she's awesome.
The best. Yeah, no, it was really great. It was really funny because I got a hold of the camera flash part, and then over Christmas she coordinated with like my family and her family for everyone else to get me all the other little bits and pieces I was missing. So people had no idea what they were giving me. They're just like, I don't know what this is, but I'm glad you're excited about this little like screw or button or whatever. But then now I can show people, I'm like, you helped me get this piece. And like, yeah, it's like, it's probably my favorite thing in my entire collection.
That's so profound in so many ways. I love it.
It is. It really is. I love this idea that the community came together to get you all the elements of the lightsaber. As you were opening presents, like, was it all at once, or was it like throughout the week of Christmas? Like you see Uncle Steve and he's like, here's a bubble thing for you. Like, and when did you realize what was happening?
I think I kind of knew it was coming because she kept kind of hinting like, hey, don't just buy that stuff. Because I have this really bad thing where if I get excited about a project, I'll just go pull the trigger on every material and tool. And so she had kind of been hinting like, hey, don't do that. But then it was fun over like visiting different family to like open different things and be like, oh, it's this piece that I needed, and explaining the whole thing to people. It was fun.
That is so awesome. That's very cool.
Well, speaking of your wife, you guys cosplay together a lot.
Yeah.
So I think we're curious, like, what role does Star Wars play in your relationship? Is one of you a bigger fan? Did one of you kind of bring the other in? Is there any, like, fan competition?
So I not introduced her to Star Wars. She'd seen it before. I think I introduced her to, like, the psychotic obsessiveness.
Sure.
But there's been this meme trend I've seen going around on my Instagram lately of it's that audio from the Kenobi series of like Obi-Wan says, what if you become? And Vader's like, I am what you made me. And I think that's kind of like me with my wife, where I just introduced it to her of like, hey, this is a thing I love. I'd love to share this with you. And now she's like, oh, we got to do this. And all the things like she loves about it. She's grown to care about it just as much as I do. And it's been, so fun. We cosplay as Kanan and Hera. And that was like her idea. She's like, I really want to do this. Can we do that? And I'm like, absolutely. That sounds amazing.
It's awesome. Really special when you get to like share your hobby.
Yeah.
That's very neat.
Will you design things together or work together, or do you just brainstorm together and then you go off and pull the trigger on a bunch of pieces?
Almost everything we make is pretty collaborative, because awesome. I'm definitely like my realm of expertise is much more in like the armor and the blasters and kind of all the hard parts and stuff. She's taught me how to sew, which has been wonderful. She's definitely still better at it than I am. But so we work on things together, and especially with how big a like time commitment a lot of these costumes are. As we get closer to the convention, it's like, oh, I'm way behind, like, and she'll jump in and help me with something, or vice versa, depending on where we're at.
For the practical effect Mandalorian chase scene you made from May 4th, which is an amazing piece and so well done, and I love that you took everybody on the journey of creating it, like the behind the scenes as you did it. Let's start off with what inspired you to do that. How did you come up with that particular story or that particular chase? And let's start there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little bit of a long story, so I'll try to not
we
go
love
into
long stories.
Yeah, true. So when because I have, like, I've always enjoyed the cosplay, and then I just enjoy looking at the work of other artists, and I really got into, like, the miniatures and models that I was seeing other people making. I had, like, found an old Millennium Falcon model kit from Return of the Jedi at, like, a thrift store. It was, like, still in box, and I was so excited. It was my first model kit I built. And I remembered, like, looking at the Falcon going, man, it would be really fun to, like, recreate, like, a shot. And there's lots of really great creators out there who have done, like, that one shot thing. And I work in video, like, by profession. So, I mean, I work for a footwear company, so nothing similar to Star Wars, but I've got at least some of the know-how for how to light a scene and using all the gear.
Production. You're doing production.
It was, yeah,
exactly.
You're speaking to friends. Yeah.
Yes,
oh, perfect.
We both come from the broadcast industry. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, so I had the thought of, like, that would be fun, and then I put it in the back of my mind, and then it was when the Light and Magic documentary came out on Disney Plus. When I was watching it was season 2 specifically, like, I was just blown away by, like, the super incredible work that they did. I read the Star Wars Archive by Paul Duncan, and I just was like, wow, like, hundreds of plates of footage being composited together into these sequences. It's all on film. Like, it was so much work, and it looks amazing. It holds up today. And I was like, I would love to do that. Like, and I looked at how they do it in The Mandalorian for a couple shots, and Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew and things like that. And then in the season 2 finale of Light and Magic, it's like a big party of them closing the model shop forever and saying goodbye to the model shop. And it broke my heart. It made me so sad because I was like, well, it would never, like, even if that was what I wanted to do, there's not really, like, the work for it in the industry anymore. And for a while I was really bummed and just kind of sad about it. And then I was talking to a friend and I just was like, why don't I just do it? Like, I'll just do it myself. Like, I can't make it my job. Like, I can't just wander into ILM and be like, hey, I want to do this. So I'll just do it myself. Yeah. And so I, luckily through work, at a local rental house, I'd saved up a ton of rewards points that I hadn't used. And so I just, like, booked all this really expensive gear and just like tried to crank it all out in a weekend.
Wow.
So yeah, it was just like, artists talk about, like, the need to create art and how it's almost like a compulsion. Like, if you're, like, a really true artist, you don't just do it for, like, the money or the acclaim. You do it because you can't not.
Yes.
And when I had this idea, I couldn't sleep. Like, all I could think about was wanting to make this space battle. And so I got to work on models and kind of trying to think about what I wanted to do. The choice of The Mandalorian, to be honest, it was mostly just brand synergy, where I was like, I'll try and put it out before the movie comes out. People will be paying attention to The Mandalorian, so it gives it a better chance of hopefully reaching people. I do love the Razor Crest. I adore that ship. I think it's a wonderful design. Yeah. And so, then I just got to work on all my models, and then everyone saw the whole process after that.
It's like you got practical effect zoomies. Like,
yeah.
Which is like how artists, I think, have, like, described exactly what you're saying, which is just like, you have to get it out. Like, that's so inspiring. Yeah.
How long did it take you from concept to completion?
Yeah, so I didn't start posting about it until I'd already been working on it for like 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
So I worked on the models for about like 3 months probably, because initially I was like, oh, I'll 3D print them, and I couldn't quite get them to look as nice as I wanted to. So then I was tracking down model kits and parts and things like that. And then once I had the models down, it was pretty quick after that. I did like some really janky previs. I posted a video about it where I just like, it's me holding the ships with my hands to kind of get like the pacing of it, my shots and what I wanted to do. And then once I had that, it was like I said, I rented the gear, and then I just like, I woke up at like 6 a.m. and shot all day and did the same thing on Sunday. And just did it all did all the shooting in one weekend. And then it was probably like another couple months of post-production, but that's because was on my free time. So it was working on it as often as I could.
Wow. You said you had your hands just guiding the ships to do a previs. Very, very much like what they did with Return of the Jedi for the speeder bike scenes. They had kind of like basically their hands. I think they were on little sticks or something, but it was very much the same. In one of your posts, talking about social, in one of your posts, you ranked your Star Wars movies in your fandom order. And one of the things you said about before you gave your order was, tell me how I'm wrong, I can take it. How do you like? First of all, I think that's
for social media.
I think that's a bold statement for social media. Just spending this short amount of time with you, I feel like you are able to take it. You have this great kind of light personality that really comes through, and it comes through on your social channel as well. But how do you find wading into the world of social that is a very different world than fandom?
I think the reason why I do say I can take it is because like I can take it now. So I've only been posting. So I've been posting on TikTok for about like 3 years, and I only started doing stuff on Instagram. Like, I guess I posted on TikTok for 3 years. I stopped for a while because I was kind of burnt out on it, and then I came back like about a year ago now, posting on every platform. And so that's the stuff most people have been seeing is since I've started posting again. But back in the day, I just am very used to, I don't know what it is about me or my side of the algorithm, but I just find the people who like to pick fights about fandom. I feel like every day I'm reading people arguing in my comments with each other. I don't know what it is about me. Like, I don't try to foster that kind of community, but it just kind of happens sometimes. But yeah, so I think I just kind of got used to it because it felt like the norm on TikTok for a long time was just like people were just kind of assholes sometimes. But there were just as many comments of people saying, oh, this is cool and this is great. And so I got used to it. And now I think I don't like welcome it, but I'm always happy to have like fandom debate. I think it's fun as long as it's in good spirits and everyone's respectful with each other.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
I don't think you're attracting that. I think anybody putting content out, especially about Star Wars, that gets a large enough, I think, audience, especially on an algorithm like TikTok. I don't know what it is about the Star Wars. I'm not going to call them the fandom. I don't know what it is about Star Wars that attracts that kind of fandom debate.
The negative
but it's
debate.
Nothing you're doing. Like I can pretty confidently like argue that that's true.
I'm like I don't think it's me. Like I'd really like to think I'm trying to foster like positivity, and I also recognize that it's engaging with it is what makes it continue. So I choose not to. But there's been a lot of times where I just want to make a video where I'm like, what is happening? Like why? Like because on
okay?
And like on the space battle, like I just did this because I was super passionate and I thought it was so cool that they still do it today. You know, it's not like a full department anymore, but they still do it. And I get these comments of like, way better than anything Disney's making. And I'm like, this is how Disney's making it. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm not trying to come out and say that like, they're doing it wrong and I'm trying to bring it back to how it should be. It's like, no, this is still how they make Star Wars, and I'm just paying tribute to it. I love all this new stuff that's coming out. Like,
it kind of gives that like grumpy, we had to walk uphill both ways, like kind of attitude that like you're finding joy in like the now. I don't know. It's a conundrum we've tried to solve with many of our guests.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I always like asking, especially influencers, about their work with online social media, because I'm always very cautious on social media. I'm very much of the philosophy, just don't engage with it, because that's all they want is engagement. And that feeling of what you described, it felt like you're just talking about Daisy and some daisies or flowers or something, and someone comes in with like a DEFCON 5 alert. Or DEFCON 1. I never know which one is. It's one with like a DEFCON 1 alert. What were some of the challenges of creating this practical effects scene?
Picking a Chrome ship was so stupid. I was like, I picked the Razor Crest because I was trying to, it's the Mandalorian's coming out. It's a perfect chance. That made my work like 50 times more difficult. And I actually I have a video I'm posting about it tomorrow that Lucasfilm just put out an article about how they did the Razor Crest model shots in the movie. And they talked about the same issues, that they're like, this stupid Chrome ship is so hard to work with. So they built a little mini volume for all the model shots so it would have accurate lighting, so they wouldn't have to do what I did and remove the blue screen from the reflection of the ship.
Wow.
God.
So once I figured out how to do it, I was able to get a pretty smooth workflow going. But essentially I was like so goodness, so much work. I'm looking at the ship right now, like,
I can see the daggers.
Yeah, exactly. I would essentially, I'd take all the color out of it, like I'd turn it to black and white, and then I'd rotoscope the yellow back into the shot.
Oh,
so it was because removing the blue felt impossible, but I'm like, if I turn it to black and white, nobody really notices that the reflection's kind of weird. It just looks like the Chrome ship. And then, I roto back in the yellow. So I and I think I probably will do something like this again. I will not be picking a Chrome ship. I'll go with something that's easier to cut out.
That's so funny. One thing is, and because you enjoy Empire Strikes Back on VHS, you may be able to see this, is in the scene where Chewbacca goes to the Ugnaughts to collect C-3PO's parts, there's a scene of he's in pieces in a bin on a conveyor belt, and it's a medium close-up of that shot, and you can see the camera in C-3PO's chrome body. So
that is the hardest challenge, that it still has never really gotten a good solution with all the technology that we have. It's just an impossible challenge. And because I've made I've got Din Djarin's helmet up there. I've made that helmet a million times now, and I'd never want to throw shade on anybody else's work. But, I see these people who work really hard to make it perfect mirror chrome. And I'm like, no, it doesn't look like that, because if it did, it would be horrible to film with. It has a dullness to it, because it is impossible to film with those reflections. So I always work really hard to make my Mando helmets metal, but not too reflective, because the one on screen's not reflective, because if it was reflective, it would be ridiculous to remove the entire crew from every shot.
Yes.
The most expensive movie ever made.
Seriously.
What would you like to see in the future of Star Wars, either in the storytelling or in the practical effect side of the storytelling?
Ooh, so I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately, because, as Lucasfilm leadership has changed hands, we're kind of coming into a new era of stuff that they're making. I think, and this is probably one of my most controversial opinions right now, I think I want more people who don't like Star Wars to make Star Wars.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, because I look at, like, of the past 10 years of the franchise, some of my favorite stuff, it's like Rogue One or Tony Gilroy outwardly says, he's like, I'm not really that big a fan of Star Wars. And that gives me this superpower of not being restricted by the fandom or, like, nostalgia. Yes. Yeah. And Andor's incredible. And I look at even, like, Bill Burr's performance in season 2 of The Mandalorian. I think that's one of the best scenes, like, when he confronts his old officer. And he actively hates Star Wars, and he says it all the time.
Yeah.
And I just think that sometimes the fans and, like, people who... because I read an interesting article once talking about how the Disney era of Star Wars is the first time that Star Wars fans are making Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And, like, it's people who grew up with it. And I think that there's maybe almost too much reverence or, like, at least for the storytelling. That I like it. Like, give me somebody who just does good storytelling and let them work within a galaxy far, far away rather than, like, ultimately... And this sounds like kind of reductive and it's not meant to, but no matter who you are, if you're a fan of it and you're working on Star Wars, you're going to kind of put your own headcanon and fan fiction into it. Yep. And most fan fiction isn't very good. And so I think, like, there's some really good stuff that comes out of it, but my favorite Star Wars almost always comes from people who are like, yeah, I think it's cool, but I just wanted to tell a good story.
Yes.
So facts.
But to flip that on its head, like when we talk about the effects, that's where I think I want huge fans of it working on it. Because I think you see Jon Favreau, like, is such a huge fan of all the classic techniques that went into making the original films. And it's why The Mandalorian and Grogu has model spaceships and stop motion and those things that I think are such a distinct part of Star Wars visual DNA that I think if you lose that, you kind of lose the feeling of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And so I think I want fresh storytellers, and then I want big fans doing all the cool stuff behind the scenes.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
And I think this podcast endorses that. Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
Like, I'm pretty sure Dave and I are sitting here like, yes, more of that, please.
Yeah.
Not controversial to us.
Oh, good. That's good to hear. Because, I think that ultimately, like, the best thing you could probably do for Star Wars right now is to not listen to the fandom, because I just think that some of the things the fans want probably aren't right. And it's not that, like, it's bad that the fans want those things, but, like, if I see another comment that's like, I know what will save Star Wars, a live action remake of the Clone Wars or an R-rated Vader movie, it's just like, that's not what it needs. And if fans are who are being listened to and that's what we're getting, I want fresh storytelling, because that's what Star Wars was. It was fresh, and it was fresh in the prequels. It's like, I know they were received kind of weird in the night, like when they were coming out, but, like, it was different. It was different than anything else coming out in theaters. Yeah. And I want Star Wars to continue to be that. It's just fresh and innovative.
So are you excited for Starfighter? Because, like, it's kind of a big mystery right now.
Yes. I think I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
I think that having it set after The Rise of Skywalker is the best news ever, where it's just like, okay, we're breaking away from the Skywalker saga, an unlimited canvas of stories to be told. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to be like, actually, Ryan Gosling is related to somebody from the original trilogy, and actually Rey's going to show up in it, and actually the kid Ryan Gosling's protecting is Luke Skywalker's grandson or something. You know, like, I'm a little worried that that's what it's going to be. I hope it's just this, like, blank canvas of, we've never explored this era of Star Wars. Let's do something interesting with it.
I do too. I hope it's like the Skeleton Crew version. Like it's just such an off branch. Yeah.
And Skeleton Crew is, one of the best things that's come out in the past few years.
Absolutely.
So charming. And it's just a fun adventure set in a galaxy far, far away. More of those, please.
What is your favorite Star Wars memory?
Oh, I mean, seeing The Force Awakens in theaters was a spectacular experience, because that was my first time hearing the title crawl and the opening theme. And, like, I took school off for opening day, and everyone was going crazy. It was, that was really magical. I don't know if I've ever like had a theater experience that's quite lived up to that. Like just before people had soured on the sequels, there was just pure excitement and joy and everyone loved it. Like it was the best feeling ever that when it ended, we were all able to look at each other and go, "Oh my God, that was so good." And that was just the best. I also, one of my favorite memories to share around, because everyone goes, "Oh, it's really cute," but it hurts me to this day, was the Jedi Training Academy at Disneyland. I did that when I was 7 and my little brother was 5. And he was obsessed with Darth Maul, and I loved Darth Vader. And he fought Darth Vader, and I fought Darth Maul. And so everyone tells that like it's a funny story, but I still remember being devastated to this day.
That's traumatic.
Yeah, it does. Does.
Yeah, so I have this really cute photo of me as a 7-year-old fighting Darth Maul, but I wanted to fight Darth Vader, and that's all I could think about.
That's so funny. And sad.
Yeah. And me and my brother still joke about it to this day. We're just like, man, we got robbed. Like, wish we could have switched that.
You've said that when you look at Star Wars, you know it's Star Wars. And I think that this is a great kind of bridge to this question. What are the top 3 elements that make Star Wars to you?
Okay. I've got a couple of things. And because, I've put a lot of thought into this, especially as more recently, I really enjoy recreating stuff, but I've been trying to create some more like original, like this is my thing, but in Star Wars or whatever. And I think one of the hugest things that people always fall victim to is like color palette. I think that Star Wars is always like very muted, desaturated tones. You can have color, but it's never like super vibrant color. I always see that in like people's like custom Mandalorian armor and different things where I'm like, oh, like the colors you picked are cool, but just like if you dialed it back a bit, added some more gray into it, like that would really make it feel more Star Wars. So I think color palette is huge. I really love, and this is something they still do, I really like the real world stuff being greebled to make like a space prop. Like, I love that all of the original trilogy blasters were, like World War II weapons that they were decommissioned and they just glued a bunch of stuff on there and said, this is a space gun. And I like that they continued to do that. Like in the prequels, they used, even though like the prequels had their own like unique look, a lot of the guns were like weird BB guns and things like that. Like they found real world things that they could convert into the prop. And in the sequels, they used like more modern weapons and then converted them to like, move the timeline forward. And I think that kind of approach to like making props in Star Wars, it's not making things from scratch, but see what real world thing I can find and then what can I stick on it to make it look Star Wars.
Love that.
And then the third thing is definitely super heavy weathering. I don't think people realize how dirty everything is in Star Wars. Like,
oh my God.
It needs to be super worn down and super dirty. And I mean, it needs to look like it's been through hell because that's like the universe that they live in and also just like the stuff that they used. So
this is my favorite answer to this question.
Yes.
No, like legitimately, because like I don't think that's ever dawned on me, and now that you've said it out loud, it just feels so obvious.
Yeah, when you get into like making this stuff, you pay really close attention to it, and even like because I sometimes get people in my comments who will tell me that I'm like roughing stuff up too much, and I'm just like agree to disagree. like the clone troopers, for example, people are like that should be like shiny, clean armor, and I'm like even in the Clone Wars, it's animated, it's not even real. If you zoom in, they're so dirty, they're like scuffs everywhere. There's so many scratches. Like it doesn't always read on camera. Like in person, you look at it and go, oh my God, this thing's totally messed up. But on camera, that reads as like tangible and real and lived in.
Yes.
And that is the difference between production-minded folk and those who have never been on a set before.
Yeah.
So our last question for you, our final question, after talking about all this, after talking about how you used to watch the original trilogy on VHS, and that is very dear to you. seeing The Force Awakens as your first movie you've ever seen in the as your first Star Wars movie ever seen in the theaters, your love of the galaxy's edge and being completely immersed in that world, and like taking that immersion and bringing it home with you to replicate it yourself, to pull your wife into this obsession you have with Star Wars. That's a little bit of a joke, but but what from the post I've seen of you and your wife doing cosplay, the joy you have in creating this world together, and then you're like, I was instantly amazed by your content. I is sometime before May 5th, and I saw that you were going to be doing this practical effect shot chase scene, and I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And you have this great kind of vibrant personality on your post that just makes it kind of fun to watch. After talking about all this, can you say, what does Star Wars mean to you?
I mean, it feels so corny to use the word like everything, and that feels like really intense. But it does. Like, I think that for me, that Star Wars was so many firsts of like being able to understand the way that storytelling moves us as people and like the effect that it has. Like, Star Wars is so popular because of how much it resonates with just the human spirit, and it allows us to, in like even into like the modern day, that Star Wars gives us an accessible way to understand the scary things in the world and difficult things, and things like fascism and rebellion and hope and cooperation and community, and like having storytelling be able to teach us things about the real world and teach us things about ourselves is just so important to me. And like, because it's at the end of the day, I'm making space costumes and laser swords, but just that this world always reminds me of just like the things that I can do to be better, and the community of just like, if we all just can share in that joy of this thing together, it just, I feel like I'm kind of rambling. It's not very well worded thoughts, but it means the world to me. I've made my best friends like celebrating and enjoying Star Wars. My wife and I share this like love for this thing together, and everywhere I go, like, especially at Galaxy's Edge, but when I go to conventions, when I go to anything, like, Star Wars is something people can bond over. People I've never met before. I just chat with people at the cantina for an hour about their love for Star Wars, and I think it's really cool that it's had that reach. And I also just like love the artistry and the passion and scrappiness and just like pure unbridled creativity that created this galaxy. What an amazing thing that like a bunch of random creatives were able to get together in the 70s and create something that would bring so many people together, 50 years on.
Yay.
Yeah. Amazing. Great answer. Beautiful answer. Tyler, where can people find you?
So I am at Beyond the Cinema on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. That's beyond.the.cinema. And then, so I am always posting content about the things that I'm making, and the things that I'm learning. Like, my favorite thing to do is post videos talking about all the behind the scenes stuff. And I also am gearing up to work on like my next big projects. Timeline is tight because I've always got conventions and things I'm going to, but I've said this before and I'll say it here. I think the next big practical effects thing I want to do, I want to make a speeder bike chase. Practically. Nice. I want to use the same techniques. So we're gonna build a full size speeder bike, and we're gonna do that. So I don't know when that's gonna happen. People cannot expect that anytime soon. That's what I'm doing next. That's what I'm working on. So
this is exciting.
That is incredible. All those links will be in the podcast notes. So if anyone wants to just jump right to it, you can look at the notes, and there's links there. Tyler, you are so... I've enjoyed this conversation so much. You're a lot of fun to talk to.
I don't feel like we've been here an hour. I blinked. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm like, what do you mean we're wrapping up? Like,
I know, right? A lot of bright energy, which I love. I love this, and this is gonna sound corny, but like I love the youthful energy, and not just that, but that you have such reverence for what came before, yet you're pushing it forward, and I love seeing that.
That's really kind. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tyler, may the force be with you.
And with you.